creating custom Pokemon for you! Welcome back, everyone, to the show where we select lucky commenters to spin a series of random wheels that give us factors for a Pokemon that we then create just for you. It's gonna be an awesome episode today, y'all. We're gonna make 3 amazing custom Pokemon as always, so if you end up liking today's video, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. And of course, if you want a custom Pokemon for yourself, don't forget to leave a comment because I'll be randomly selecting people from this video's comments for the next episode. And without further ado, let's get into the first Pokemon! And this one will be for a handle that isn't taken, who wants me to add Z-moves and Gigantamax to the X-Factor wheel. I'll be honest, I don't think Z-moves are cool enough to put in the wheel, and Gigantamax isn't my favorite mechanic. I'll go ahead and add it for now, but let me know in the comments if you want me to get rid of it, because I'm kind of mixed on. But anyway, handle, let's start by getting the power level of your Pokemon, and you're going to be a Convergent Evolution. Nice! And it means that now we have to spin this wheel to see what generation of Pokemon will be making a Convergent 4, and it's Gen 9, the most recent generation. Interesting. And of course, now we'll spin this wheel that has every single Gen 9 Pokemon on it, and we got Tinkaton. That's actually super hype because it means we get to make an entire Convergent Tinkaton line. That is a fan favorite Pokemon, so that's perfect. Now let's see what new typing we'll be giving to this Convergent Tinkaton. Your first type is None, which means whatever this next type is, it's your only type, and it's Electric type. I feel like that's going to be pretty hard to do, but hopefully it turns out okay. And the last step, before we see which Pokemon looks like, let's see if it has an X Factor, and you do! A Mega Evolution! Giving a Mega Evolution to Tinkaton would be cool enough, but a Convergent Tinkaton? This just got wild! Get ready to meet a Pokemon that's somehow an even bigger menace to society than Tinkaton. Your Pokemon is Thundertink, the Zap Capture Pokemon. These Pokemon are extremely effective when fighting their fellow electric types, as they're known to craft their own makeshift weapons out of discarded electrical equipment that are capable of absorbing any electric attack sent its way. Upon reaching level 24, it would evolve into Thundertop. Now having upgraded their wire weaponry, these Pokemon have now set their eyes on a particular type of prey, as they seem to exclusively target Dodiode, the electric-type Convergent Doduo that we made in episode 19. That's right, Thundertuff attacked Dodiode just like how the Tinkaton line attacks Corviknight, using their large ball and chain wire weapons to crush them into the ground, capturing their small electric bodies in the process, which has the bonus effect of giving their ball and chains an electrical charge. So while the Tinkaton line hunts Corviknight to make their weapons, the Thunders hunt Dodiode to charge their weapon. At level 38, it would evolve into Thunderton. These Pokemon now wield a giant Tesla tower that's almost as mighty as its facial hair, as it's now able to store multiple Dodiode in its orb, which crash into each other when the hammer is swung, causing them to unleash a burst of electrical energy that only makes the swing of Thunderton's hammer that much more powerful. When exposed to Thundite, it would evolve into Mega Thunderton. These mighty warriors are so strong, they've now managed to capture the electric dragon type Dotriode in its hammer, turning this once incredible 3-headed monstrosity into nothing more than a power supply for its earth-shaking weapon swing. In terms of stats, Mega Thunderton has very solid physical attack as well as defenses. However, its speed is pretty mid, which hopefully stops it from being too overpowered. And for regular Thunderton, it's got pretty much the exact same thing going on, however, its defenses are notably worse. And for the shiny, I went with this light blue color as a reference to shiny Dodiode, which has the exact same color. But now let's get into the second Pokemon. But before we get into that, real quick, I might need your help. If you don't know, I've been working on a completely free fan-made Pokemon game for the custom Pokemon series called Pokemon Void. If you want to watch the trailer for it, I'll link it right there. But anyways, while I originally considered making this game fully on my own, I quickly realized that is going to be impossible, especially with the grand scope that I now have for the game. So I'm currently looking for a team of volunteers to help me make the game. I'm already working with some people, but if you have any experience working on a fan-made Pokemon game and want to help out, please check out the link in my description for a Google form where you can apply to join the team. And if you don't have any experience making a fan-made Pokemon game, please don't apply. There's really no point. But if you do or know somebody who does, please check out that Google form because we are currently putting together a team to make the best fan-made Pokemon Pokemon game ever. I seriously think it's going to be amazing once we have the right people. So again, link in the description if you're interested at all, but now let's get back into the second Pokemon. And this one will be for Crystal Hutchinson, who said they just watched every episode of the series. That is awesome, and now we get to make your own custom Pokemon to celebrate. So alright, Crystal, let's start by getting the power level of your Pokemon, and you are going to be regular. Hey, nothing wrong with that. Now let's see how many times your Pokemon can evolve, and you are going to get 1, which makes you a 2-stage evolution line. Now let's see what typing your Pokemon's going to be. Your first type is going to be the normal type. I actually really like the normal type. I feel like it's overhated. And normal ghost type is actually super cool typing, especially because it's so rare in real Pokemon. And the last step before we see which Pokemon looks like, let's see if it has an X Factor, and you do, a signature new mechanic. A new mechanic on top of that super unique typing? This Pokemon is gonna be interesting. Get ready to see a Pokemon whose biggest weakness is a vacuum. Your Pokemon is Bunbury, the Dust Bunny Pokemon. An old wives' tale in the Pokemon world states that if you go too long without cleaning your room, it will cause Bunburys to form out of the unattended dust. A frightening prospect, as once these ghost types appear, there's pretty much no getting rid of them. As even after absorbing the most powerful of attacks, Bunbury's dusty bodies will slowly reform themselves until they're whole once more. And if that's not terrifying enough, Bunburys also seem to easily multiply. As once one appears, it won't be long until the area is full of these silent dust devils. And then you have a much bigger issue, as just like real dust, Bunburys can clump together in order to evolve. As upon having a Bunbury level up while your party is full of Bunburys, they'll combine, evolving into a Malgaton! A terrifying union of demonic dust, this monstrosity feeds exclusively on the uncleanly. So, you know, clean your room. In terms of stats, Malgaton is super tanky, mostly because of its insane HP stat. However, to balance it out, its offenses aren't too good. And for the shiny, I went with this white color to look like stuffing out of a stuffed animal, which I thought was a cool reference. But now let's get into the third Pokemon. And this one will be for Pillow Dog, who says that I should have a competition where you all make Pokemon for me. And I think that's actually a super good idea, especially if I made a Pokemon for the winner in return. I think that could be really cool, but let me know in the comments if y'all want to see that. But anyways, Pillow, let's start by getting the power level of your Pokemon, and you are going to be a fossil Pokemon. Awesome, it's been a while. So now let's see how many times your fossil Pokemon can evolve, and you are going to get 1, which makes you the maximum 2-stage evolution line. Now let's see what typing this fossil Pokemon's going to be, besides of course the rock type, and it is the normal type. That is pretty weird, especially because we just made a normal type, and I'm actually pretty sure that a rock normal type Pokemon doesn't exist in real Pokemon right now. So yeah, this is super weird. And the last step before we see which Pokemon looks like, let's see if it has an X Factor, and you do, a corrupted form. A normal type fossil Pokemon with a corrupted form. This is going to be crazy. Get ready for the most wholesome Pokemon of the entire series. The first stage of your Pokemon is Miloth, the long hair Pokemon. Despite living during a time period where the biggest and meanest creatures prevailed, these Pokemon are shockingly friendly, as they were known to only collect and eat berries, which they would even share with its fellow hungry Pokemon. And it's this friendly disposition that led to it having no other creatures that hunted it, because even the meanest of prehistoric monsters couldn't bring themselves to hurt this friendly little guy. At level 35, it would evolve into Mammotuff. Despite its now very large size, these Pokemon are entirely non-violent and much prefer to help their fellow Pokemon instead of harming them. In fact, it's even known to store berries in its long fur, saving them for later when it can offer them to an injured Pokemon that it comes across. And this is reflected in its signature ability, Hand Out. An ability that would activate at the end of every turn, where Mammotuff would heal itself, as well as every other Pokemon in the battle, including the enemy. That's right, Mammotuff won't even let the fact that a Pokemon is the enemy stop it from providing them help. And for this reason, Mammotuffs are commonly used by trainers who specialize in Pokemon rehabilitation, as their calming aura and helpful attitudes make them perfect for getting injured Mons back on their feet. And it's this Pokemon's calming attitude that was truly put to the test when one day a corrupted form outbreak occurred near the largest rehabilitation center in the custom region. And as the corrupted monstrosity ripped its way through the walls, the only Pokemon to contest it was Mammoth, who approached the beast and extended a berry in an attempt to calm it down. And shockingly, it worked, as the corrupted Pokemon began to retreat, finding itself unable to continue its rampage. However, this enraged the distant evil cosmic legendary, who couldn't believe such a weak creature foiled its plan. So it corrupted Mammoth with a form that served as less of a power-up and more of a punishment. As now infused with cosmic energy, it's been constricted by its own long hair, which has now weaved its way together, serving as a sort of straitjacket, preventing it from healing others, as it's now forced to watch as its extreme cosmic energy damages all that gets too close, making for the absolute worst of bad hair days. In terms of stats, corrupted Mammoth is purposely held back by not having any speed and very poor defenses, which is a reference to the fact that its body is literally constricted. However, it does have insane special attack, and regular Mammoth actually has really good defenses and surprisingly solid speed, especially for a sloth. And for the shiny, I just went with a brighter green color because I thought it looked nice, and honestly, we need some more simple shinies in this series. But that's gonna do it for today's episode, y'all. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe before you go, and if you want to watch more episodes of the custom Pokemon series, then there's a bunch in this playlist. I'm gonna get right back to making some awesome custom Pokemon for you, so I'll see you in the next episode, but until then, peace.